On this SEGA Talk, Barry takes a visit to Tokyo Joypolis and shares his full day of fun playing games, eating food, and getting yelled at by staff. Is SEGA's last standing theme park a joy? Watch and find out on SEGA Talk. SEGA Bits presents SEGA Talk, a podcast talking all things SEGA! With your hosts, George and Barry.
Look, it's a giant talking egg. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the master here. So what?
Hello and welcome to episode number 163 of SEGA Talk. I'm Barry, and with me is my plus one, George.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. And George, if you are over the age of 60, you can enter for free. You can't ride for free, but you get to enter this episode for free. Are you over 60?
I am. I have an AARP card to prove it.
Nice. Cool. Good job.
Thank you.
So yeah, as evidenced by the introduction to this episode, we are going to be talking about Tokyo Joypolis, and in a rare instance, we're not going to be basing everything off of what we read online or finding someone's videos. This is actually my experience visiting Tokyo Joypolis just last month. I was there in mid-April 2025 as we record this, and it was a great trip. I was there with my dad, who took me as part of a birthday present, a belated birthday present.
Wow.
And yeah, I had a great time. There is a trio of videos on our YouTube channel, of me. What are they? The three of them are walking around Akihabara, looking at the Gigo arcades, former SEGA arcades, shopping, like retro game shopping, and then Joypolis, which is a half-hour video. So if you watch that one before this, or you watch that one after this, either or works. It's really like a day through the park. I actually went straight to the third floor in reality, but on this video, we're going to be going from first, second, and third floor. I've been talking a lot. George, why don't you talk about our Patreon?
So if you guys go to www.patreon.com/SegaBits, you can support this show for as little as $1. If you pay $5 or more, well, $5 gives you the video version free. I mean, well, early, not free, right? Because you're paying. Sorry about that. And if you pay $20, you get to tell us what to talk about for an episode. So can you imagine the trashy games you could tell us to talk about? And thanks for all our Patreon supporters.
Thank you. Yes. And I'll shout them out right now. Our producers, our $20 tier, we have Nicholas Schaefer and Daniel Andres. So thank you so much for your support. And this isn't a pick, but we were gonna have to do this one on my return from Japan. And I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about like the trip as a whole, but I will say from my own experience, I thought Akihabara, or Akiba, as it's also called, was a great kind of home base. It's busy, but not too busy. There's a lot to do, but it's not like overwhelming. And to be quite honest, like you go to other parts of Japan, like the larger parts like Shibuya, or I guess the proper, like the Tokyo Tower, like all those bigger areas, the more touristy spots, and it is overwhelming. It's like New York City levels of overwhelming. But then you get back to your hotel in Akihabara, and you're like, wow, this is relaxing by comparison. Wow. And so it's kind of nice as a little home base. All of the major places I went to were between 30 and 45-minute train rides from that location. So it's kind of centralized, which is nice. I did go to Kabukicho and walk the walk as though I was like in the Yakuza games.
Right. You
and
have to, right?
and yeah, and it honestly, it's 1-to-1. It's kind of surreal walking around there. I found an outdoor batting cage place, and I was like, man, this is just like straight out of Yakuza. There were like the little the hostesses like beckoning you to come in, and you're like, oh. But the funny thing was, I had very little interactions with people like on the street. Like people kept to themselves. The only two times were when I was in Kabukicho. This guy walked up to me showing me his phone, and it had like a Japanese girl kneeling wearing lingerie. And he's like, she's inside there. And I'm like, no thanks. Like, I wish I would prefer she come out and ask me to come in. I don't trust you.
Right. It's strange.
and
they get
then-
a strange man to get you to go into a building.
It was very odd, yeah. And then the other one was at the at a retro game store. I was taking a picture of some VMUs, and a guy tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a sign that said "No cameras." And I have to imagine that was like the biggest asshole move from a Japanese person, because he like touched me. You know what I mean? That's weird, right?
He's like
I
invading your personal space.
Yeah,
kind of
and so I
unusual.
actually was. It was unusual and honestly a little offensive. So I'd like to ask the country of Japan to apologize for the guy
I'm
who
sure
touched me.
You're gonna get it any day now, I'm sure.
I'd like the prime minister, or the president, or the king of Japan.
Do they have?
But yeah, that was.
They have a prime minister, right?
Yeah,
Okay, just wondering.
yeah. But in any case, you can watch those videos there. I'm going to milk this trip for all it's worth, so I'm going to be on Sonic Weekly next week, just talking about like the state of Sonic in Japan. There's not too much to talk about, but I think there's some interesting things to mention. And then I'm thinking I'm going to do like a swing and report show with my friend Steve, who actually gave me all of the retro game shopping tips.
So you had
and I'm just going to...
some studying notes before you went in.
I did, yeah. It's very helpful. And I think when I do that episode, I'm going to share this Google map that I made that has all of the places I went to pinpointed. It's very helpful, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have found half of these places. But one place that was very easy to find was Tokyo Joypolis. So according to SEGA Retro, and this is how they phrase it, Tokyo Joypolis is an indoor theme park located in the Dex Tokyo Beach shopping complex, and I'm gonna butcher this, maybe Odaiba or Odaiba. This is probably the only time I'm gonna say it on the show, so I said it correctly in one of those ways. It was opened alongside the mall in July 1996 as the fourth Joypolis venue by SEGA. Tokyo Joypolis is the largest and most successful Joypolis, and the only venue to still be operational in Japan. It has been remodeled and reopened twice in the near 30 years of operations, once in the year 2000 and again in July 2012. So you have to imagine this is maybe due for another remodeling and reimagining. It seems like they've done it. It was open in 96, and 4 years later they did it, which is kind of wild.
I agree.
And then again 12 years later, and now we're at 13 years later. So it's well past. So I'm glad I went there when I did, because I was basically experiencing what it's looked like since 2012. To get there though, it wasn't too bad. It was a couple trains. The train system in Japan is, as you'd suspect, like amazing. Very easy to navigate if you use Google or Apple. Actually, I found both of them had their pluses and minuses. Like, one of the map apps would show me the upcoming trains, but then the other map app would get very specific as to how to get to the next station if I had a connection. And as far as riding the train, like paying for it, I downloaded this app called, let me see if I still have it. I'm sure I do. It's called Sucia, Suica Mobile. Let's see if it's safe to show. Yeah, I can show it.
And what does the app do? Just for the trains?
So it's like an virtual card on your phone to pay for your transit.
Oh,
And
okay.
without this, I would have been screwed in many ways. For one, it's actually very confusing on buying the passes because the machines take card or cash. But every single I went on the trip with 5 different cards, like a couple check cards, credit cards, whatever. It said no to all the cards, every single card, and I was like, oh, I'm screwed. Like, this is my first attempt to use a card in Japan, and every single one's being declined.
Not good.
And then I didn't have the cash on me because I thought I could get by my first day with a card. Technically, my 4th day, and I was getting by just fine. Thankfully, I did find this app, and this thing was like my lifeline for the whole trip because I learned very quickly that most stores will take this currency, this transit card. So you can actually buy a lunch or a dinner with your transit card. It was really cool. In fact, there were some restaurants that only took the transit card or cash. So,
and
yeah,
so,
that's nice.
how would you compare, like, I don't know, Chicago's train system or transit system compared to Japan?
Well, Japan's interesting because it feels like multiple train systems connecting. Like there's different companies that run different lines. They have different names. I was actually very impressed by the fact that train lines had their own dedicated color and theme song for the doors closing. And it wasn't like, oh, it's green. It was like we picked a very specific color, and this color is named after the train line. Like they put that much thought into it. I rode this one train that was like a mustard yellow was the train line color. And I got on the train, and I don't know if it was a special car, but it was wood paneled inside, and it had all these like shiny silver light fixtures, and the seats were green, and it was just such a cool aesthetic. And then the door, like I said, every train line has its own theme song, and it's like bing 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 bing. Like it was that ornate. It wasn't just like ding dong,
Right.
And the Japanese are conditioned. As soon as you hear that theme song, you do not rush for the doors. Like if you've been in any major city, people will rush for the doors as they're closing. They'll put their arms in to try to stop it. But in Japan, they have signs up saying the doors will not reopen when you put your arm in them. So as soon as the music plays, people are like, well, I'm not getting on that train, even though it's like right there and the doors are open. But on the train to Joypolis or to that area, it's probably one of the most beautiful train rides because it does a loop over the ocean or over the bay area. And you go under 2 different bridges. One of them's the Rainbow Bridge. And as you look out, you get a perfect view of the area you're going to, and you get a perfect view of Tokyo proper. So like, yeah, like if you want a very affordable ride through one of the most scenic areas, that's definitely great. And then once you get there, I got there an hour before it opened. You can see, let me see if I put pictures. Yeah. So this first photo, this is a panoramic shot. This is the view from the area where Tokyo Joypolis is. And it's just beautiful. It's an outdoor park. You can see there's like the tree from Shenmue down in the center there by the water.
The old man under it.
Installed it there. The Statue of Liberty is there, and it's like a legit mini version of the Statue of Liberty that France sent Japan during a year-long celebration of their friendship, I guess.
That's so weird. Can you imagine that? They're like, your like sister-in-law's all here. I bought you something of another person that you don't even know from like another country. Like, what does that have to do? Like with it's like your next door neighbor likes brownies, so I bought you brownies. It's like, why? I don't.
Yeah. It
So
was kind
weird.
of odd. I'm like, oh, so our Statue of Liberty is uh, less important. And also, if you note, it's facing inward towards the
Right.
land, and the Statue of Liberty is meant to face outwards towards incoming ships as
Right.
like a welcome and a greeting to travelers. And so it's kind of strange that they flipped it facing where it's
So,
not welcoming anyone. It's
so
like
like
posing for pictures.
the Statue of Liberty's like kiss my ass basically to anyone docking the
Right.
bay basically.
And if you look on so in the center there, that bridge, that's what the train kind of goes through and over and by, and that's just so cool looking. Um, and then if you look on the far right, that crazy building with the sphere, I don't know what it's called. I just thought it was cool looking. Um,
Ah.
but you can kind of see Tokyo Joypolis just to the right of the Statue of Liberty there. It's that little gray kind of building there. And if you go
Ah.
to the next slide, you can see the outside of Joypolis, the big sign.
I like it. I like the little bottom circle design thing that they randomly put there. I mean, it looks aesthetically pleasing, but I don't know. Like, they didn't have to do that. They just show that they added a little extra spice to the design.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and you'll see that throughout the pictures. Is that, you know, like I said, Joypolis started in '96, so it, even though they did refreshes and kind of like rebrandings of the inside, there's always little elements from previous iterations kind of floating around. So I'd have to imagine like that's something from maybe '96. You know, it seems older and dated. Um, and if you recall, there's that Sonic screensaver of Sonic jumping over the escalator, and that's Joypolis in its original iteration, which is just wild to me that like I rode on an escalator that exists in like classic Sonic art from a screensaver. Like that's just weird. Um, the third image there, you can see that's the outdoor ticket booth. It wasn't in operation at the time I was there. And they have this whole area roped off. I'm not sure. This is like an outside ticketing area. But then once you get inside, on the fourth image, you'll see a guy
Eating
mid bite
popcorn?
of Dippin' Dots.
Yeah,
Dippin'
is
Dots.
why you caught him in mid like he's pretty much like enthralled in something that was behind you or at the
He's
side
having
of
a
you.
great he's having a great time, and you can see too that I was there during Easter, so they had Easter decorations up, and you can look. And I actually did not pay attention to this, but the mascots for Joypolis are actually eggs on
Oh,
that arch. And
I
that
was
arch is iconic if you look at old photos of Joypolis. Um, and so I think I'm kind of making it pretty known here that I really got a kick out of just the look and vibe of it. Even though this is a refresh of a refresh from 2012, like it the structure is what was there in '96, and that's
mm,
just wild to me. Like we've done a Sega World Sega talk, and every single one of those places we talked about are gone or stripped or
right.
changed. And I think, and I'll just address it now. When I put up my Joypolis video, there were a few comments from people saying they were disappointed with it. They said when they went, and I think when they went there, they wanted like 2025 state of the art VR, wow me at every corner, Japanese technology at its best. When
Mm,
really this is an indoor theme park. It's not an arcade. So you're not going to go there and go, oh, where's Virtua Fighter? Where's, you know, Outrun?
right.
Like you can find those things in Akihabara. You can find those things a 10-minute ride away from me right here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. I wasn't looking for those. I wanted unique, like almost theme park like experiences that I can't experience anywhere else, even if they're dated in some cases. Because for me, at least, like as someone who loves Sega history, the fact that I'm riding a ride that is very close to something from like 1996 is just really cool to me. And I think that's much more exciting than going to a Joypolis where like I'm being constantly like amazed by holograms and VR and like something that was from the last few years. You know what I mean? That's
Right,
fair, right? I can understand people being disappointed if they go there and like, oh, it's just like an indoor mall theme park, but it's like that's what it's always been. You know, like I don't
Yeah, I think
like
people
it's not
like.
Disney World.
I think people also like. I guess read up about how expansive it was, and maybe think. I don't know what they think they're gonna go in there. See like the whole history of Sega with every single arcade machine. Probably not.
Right.
But
No, no. And I don't know if it's ever really truly been like that. I know it's had maybe more Sega arcade games, but I didn't miss them if they were taken out. Um, but I will say what I did miss. So let's say now we paid. You can buy either an entry ticket where you can freely walk around and then pay per ride, or you can do an all access pass, which was what I did, and that costs like $35. Like that's nothing to ride unlimited every single ride there. And I actually have it here. Let's see how much it cost. It was 5,300 yen. So that's $36 to ride unlimited rides all day. And that's I have my ticket here, my Joypolis ticket.
is that
You
laminated?
can see. No, it's not, but I might actually get like one of those Pokemon sleeves for
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah, of course.
And then I have a second. This is my dad's one. So my dad got in free because he did not want to do any rides and he wanted to just walk around. And then they also gave this to me. And I used one of them, but I kept the other one. It's a Crane Game extra bonus card, meaning if I play a UFO catcher, I can play it one more time for free by using this ticket, and I just have to present the ticket to a Joypolis employee.
In the next decade, when you go back, you're gonna go, I'm redeeming this, and the
Finally,
same person is still there, and they're like, yes, sir, I remember you.
And I also grabbed this. It's the Joypolis guidebook.
Oh, nice.
And I actually grabbed multiples, so I'll mail you some, and I'll tell you right now, I could not. I was gonna get you a Sega T-shirt. I could not find any T-shirts.
Oh, really? They were all sold
the
out?
T-shirts are picked over by people like us. It's like if you want one of like a chibi Sonic, like in like a white shirt, I could hook you up. But if you want a sick black shirt with the RGG Studio logo, they're all gone. Like that's the most popular thing there.
Wow, surprising.
And I saw it, but it was in small. They had RGG Studio hoodies. They were all sold out. It's actually kind of amazing, and I'm getting ahead of myself. But
I saw some of your pictures. I thought it was crazy that like Yakuza had like branding in a place that they kind of like molded their games out of.
Yeah, that was really interesting. Yakuza was almost like it was the Sonic pillar and the Like a Dragon pillar. They were big in Japan. If you're a Like a Dragon Yakuza fan, you could go there and probably find more merch for that than Sonic, which is wild to me. They had statues, they had shirts. I didn't get anything because a lot of it was the Pirate Yakuza, and I haven't played that game yet, so I felt kind of weird like buying merch for a game I haven't even played. And the statues were quite expensive too.
I think the cover for that game is weird. I'm surprised they went with just the gradient background. I was it's like whatever.
It is a bad
bad
cover, but so you buy your ticket, you walk in, you go through those circles, and the first thing you're going to see outside of the stage, which we'll get to, is Gekian Live Coaster. And I got some bad news. I didn't even realize this until I left and was doing these notes. It was out of order. And I didn't think about that. I was like, I know there's a roller coaster here, but I don't see the people riding around. And so for some reason, it just kind of left my consciousness. I completely forgot it existed. But it seems like it was out of order because the queue for it would have been right there and very long had... I think everyone would have wanted to ride it as soon as they entered. And there was actually quite a few people, maybe 25 people, in addition to myself, who was there as it was opening. So what is this coaster? So Gekion Live Coaster, sometimes written as Gekion Live Coaster, is a large attraction designed by SEGA Interactive and manufactured by the roller coaster company Gertschlauer. It's made to replace the ride Veil of Dark and it happened in 2016. So in 2016, it replaced Veil of Dark, which was also a indoor coaster. It combines an indoor spinning roller coaster with an interactive rhythm shooting game and is advertised as the world's first rhythm game coaster. And we have a quick video of it, so we can check that out here.
Wow.
And it's
what? So it's like a weird Hatsune Miku type roller coaster?
Yeah, so apparently roller coaster fans are really into this coaster because I don't know roller coaster terminology, but apparently it's the first indoor roller coaster with an upside down, like an inversion, I think. And on top of that, it's 360, so it spins around. So it's like historically as a roller coaster, it's like it has a first to it. And so a lot of roller coaster heads will ride it just because of that. But yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't working. And I'm 100% sure it would have really added a lot to the vibe of the park while I was there. Because, you can imagine this thing going around every like 5 minutes would have been cool, but it just wasn't running. And I actually didn't even see signage for it. So it, like I said, it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Another one I didn't ride was Half Pipe Tokyo. And Half Pipe Tokyo, this was first installed alongside Veil of Dark at the July 2012 reopening of Tokyo Joypolis. It remodels the older Half Pipe Canyon attraction, which was designed by SEGA AM5. And you'll hear their name a few times, I think, here. Updates made to it include LED accents and larger LED screens for displaying scores and videos. And you can see a short video I made. So, yeah, you can see here it's a giant half pipe, and you and a buddy are like strapped in, kind of facing each other.
Like it's like a pendulum. It just goes back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, and they play dance music, and there's video screens. And what's funny is the operators, like, they could like shut up and let you enjoy the ride, but they're like talking up, like you're a little baby's going on a swing. It's kind of funny.
And did you win on that one?
I did not.
Okay,
and I regret it. There's two regrets. This one and another one coming up. And the reason I didn't was, like I said, I went from the top down, which paid off because there was no waiting on the third floor because everyone started on the first. But then, like, as the day went on, the first floor stuff had a lot longer wait times. And I looked at this one, I'm like, I get the vibe of what it will feel like. But now looking back and knowing that it was like an opening day ride from Sega AM5, I'm like, I should have done it. But there's always it's a reason to go back, I guess.
I will say it's a little disappointing that it didn't go all the way up, like upside down, because I feel like that was something that in America that they would just make you go upside down or do something more dangerous. It seemed kind of like tame compared to like what they do in America. Not that not that it would be bad, but because sometimes I think it's a little too much. I feel like when I go to carnivals, I'm like, am I gonna die today getting in this thing? So
you might.
Yeah. That was super safe.
The next
compared to more things.
Yeah, it. I think stuff that wasn't like hidden behind a door with video screens, I wasn't as intrigued by. So with this one, I could see it. I got a sense of what the ride was like. I should have tried it. But here's the thing, too. I was there technically solo. My dad was, he was upstairs in the cafe. He wasn't doing the rides. And so in this case, I either would have been going on my own or I would have been partnered up with someone who was in a group of like 3 with their friends. And that would have been a little awkward, I felt. Like either me alone or me with like some random Japanese person. But this next one, I don't have pictures or anything. I thought it was kind of unexciting. It's called Laser Shooting Isin. It's a story-based shooting game that combines show elements with a shooting system that lets players experience gunfighting using a laser tag system. And it's basically like a glorified shooting gallery with like guys popping up. I thought that was fine, but none of the laser tag stuff really jumped out at me. There's a few other rides like that. The Joypolis Explorer, which we have a video of here.
Oh,
this was more of a like, yeah. Why don't you hit play on it?
I'll press play.
I'll explain. Yeah. So you can see people going into this like forested room. They have like these iPad scanners, and then they have to walk around with it around their neck. I saw a lot of kids doing this there. And now that I'm like watching the video and learning more about it, I'm realizing that those little triangular icons were all over Joypolis, and I had no idea what they were. I thought they were like old decorations or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is something I didn't do just because like imagine having to carry that around.
Right. It's kind
of
of
like
goofy
scanning
looking.
stuff.
It looks it looks like a Fisher Price toy.
It's something I think little kids were doing, even though they're showing teenagers. I did see a few little kids doing it, but it's not for me. Another regret I have, and it's like, Barry, didn't you do anything? I did a ton of stuff. I didn't do a lot of stuff on the first floor. Spicy Taxi. So this is a weird looking game. It is, you get on a cute and colorful tuk-tuk ride, and they claim it's a new concept ride attraction in which you go bounty hunting. And apparently there are mini games with like either trivia, or I know there is a language barrier there. It also is family based. So again, it's like I would have been riding on my own in a game that requires the understanding of the Japanese language. And I just thought probably better for me to pass on this one until I ride it with like extra people. I also couldn't really figure out if it's a SEGA invention.
Like the
I couldn't
game
really
was made.
figure that out. Yeah, it's from 2019.
That's kind of new.
Let's see who developed it. Yeah, I don't see a developer name. Like Sega Retro doesn't say who made it. And I noticed that in the later additions to Joypolis, Sega's not always involved. Sometimes they'll use third parties. Sometimes it's like the Chinese wing of Sega, if you remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And you know, Joypolis itself is technically owned by a Chinese company that Sega has a stake in, and they use the Sega license because obviously they don't have anything of their own. But this next one called Pirate's Plunder, this is also kind of a kiddie shooting gallery game. To my knowledge, again, it's not Sega developed, and it was a new edition. And you can see you sit in a little boat. You go up and down and pew pew with your laser. It looks cute, but again, it was something I was like, I don't know. I'll pass.
No, pirate. I guess it does seem kind of like it's like a light gun shooter. I thought you would be into this. Why not this one?
I don't know. I think because it actually had a decent line when I was there, and I didn't really get a sense of what it was. But I don't know. It's okay. I can't do everything.
I think it's funny because it reminds me of that like Deadly Enforcer more, like because it looks more mocapped, the game when they show it, like it's CGI characters coming out. So that's kind of weird, but
I was there for 5 hours, and like I was nonstop doing stuff. So I've heard people say, "Oh, you don't need a day to experience Joypolis." I disagree. I think I could have been there for another till closing time and finally experience everything. There are quite a few claw machines, UFO catchers. Not as many as in Akihabara. There was some places I went to, it was just like insane the number of UFO catchers. And it's almost all UFO catchers that I saw in Japan. It was like Sega's got that market cornered.
Right.
And so you can see here I found the iconic Sonic Joypolis, UFO catcher machine. Surprisingly, there was only two, the ones you're seeing here. One had the like silver Joypolis logo on his foot. The other one had blue. I really wanted to walk away with one of these, but I spent maybe $20.
Damn.
and I know about claw machines. I know that they're rigged. What they do is there's a setting where it will essentially have a loose grip where it'll kind of just slip out, and then every so often it'll have like a hard grip where the claw won't move and it'll pluck it out. The question is, how friendly is that machine going to be to you? And this machine very clearly was not very friendly. I did not see anyone walking around with a Sonic plush. I maybe saw that little the backdrop there where it shows all the ones that they take out. Mm-hmm. Maybe one was one the entire time I was there that day. So these are, I guess I'll say that the eBay prices are justified. They go for like $100 on eBay, and I was like, why? And now I get it. Like
they had to spend more than $100 to catch it.
Right, and I did see Sonic plushes at other places in Japan, but never this one. This is like a specific size for Joypolis, and obviously the stamp on his foot. Personally, I think they should sell these at the store instead of keeping them behind the claw machine. But I get it. That's how they get their money out of
right. Degenerate
Westerners.
Gamblers.
Like, yeah. Next up, we have the main stage, and this is actually the first thing you pass. You can see to the right there, there's kind of some lines. That's for the roller coaster. And then the wall there is actually to keep people from like climbing up on the stage. And so all of those little bricks there have projectors that will go on them during shows. And then there's the screen up top and the screen below. There were shows every maybe half hour to an hour. It was all digital performances, so people weren't coming out on the stage. That does happen, but in, like special events like Sonic's birthday, he'll be out there with like Izuka.
He just shows up, pulls up in the
right,
parking lot.
Exactly. And after the next section, we'll actually show, I think, a video of like one of the more deluxe stage shows that they put on. I think it was the 2012 premiere of the new opening. But first, I got to talk about Lop It.
What's this?
Lop It. So this is exciting, George.
Okay. I'm listening.
So Lop It is one of the two, I guess you'd call them mascots of Joypolis. In fact, she's not even the main one. The main one is, and man, I don't know if I even took it. It was so forgettable. I think it's called Joypil-kun.
Joypil-kun.
Joypil-kun. Let me see. I didn't even put it in the notes because I thought it was just like, yeah. So Joypoli-kun, and you'll probably see him in a picture later on. It's a white heart with black eyes on each heart, and then upside down hearts for like mouths or noses. And then they're actually two halves of a heart that come together. It's the weirdest, ugliest thing. And like, me, I'm like Mr. SEGA fanboy. I really wanted to love Joypoli-kun. I just couldn't. I thought it was so weird. It's like a Pokemon that like no one likes. And
wow.
Weirdly, they had a plush of him.
And you didn't want it?
I couldn't bring myself to buy the plush. I was like, I don't know if I want Joypoli-kun plush, but what I did get was I got my Lop It plush.
Wow.
And look at her. Isn't that great? She's got Joypolis on her headphone. Lop It. Lop It, George. And I'm so excited to talk about Lop It. It was actually my most exciting part of the notes. So
I don't know how I feel
It,
about this, but go on.
No. So Lop It, her name means Live Show Operator Prototype by Interactive Technology, and she is a digital entertainer created for the July 2012 relaunch of Tokyo Joypolis. She is voiced by Yuko Takayama, and she has a cheerful, clumsy personality and wears bright, playful clothing. She is a venue mascot and performs stage shows on the Digitareal live stage, and also works as a musical artist, singing and drumming on 3 pop singles, Kyoku Kiroku, Joypolis, and Naonai Taiso. And I heard all 3 of those songs throughout the park as I was there. I watched some of her performances from afar, from the second floor down.
Does she
her
have it?
Personality.
Like, is she a good
She's
artist?
got it, George.
Okay.
I'm happy to. Well, what's funny is apparently Vocaloid people kind of resent her because she has a real voice actress. She's not a Vocaloid. She's a digital performer, but with a real voice. And so they're like, I was finding videos of her on the Vocaloid subreddits, and people were like, she's not a real Vocaloid. She's no Hatsune Miku. But
okay,
let me tell you a little bit more about Loppet.
Gatekeeping digital artists.
They are. So first, let's look at these pictures of her. So this first one, this is the kind of key art of her. You see this a lot throughout the park. She's got a very, kind of like, she almost looks like a character from Cool Cool Toon or Space Channel 5 a little bit. Her outfit is, playful, colorful. It's kind of the Joypolis colors when you're around the park. There's a lot of blacks and it's fun. The concept art, the next picture here, you can see she looks a little more out to lunch. She's got a parasol. It shows the Pantone colors, the Loppet colors. You got to be on brand. And then as far as her description, so she's a glitchy, energetic character known for wearing mismatched, chaotic clothing and having 2 hair buns. And this is why I love Loppet. Hair buns made of strawberry cheesecake Dippin' Dots ice cream.
Oh my God, that's real. It's branded. Like, it's sponsored by Dippin' Dots.
She's not sponsored. That's the crazy thing. They just gave her Dippin' Dots hair. This is Dippin' Dots hair on the plush. And
I think
so,
it's
yeah,
weird that one of her leggings
Uh-huh.
is mismatched, but her gloves match. I always thought they were going to do the gloves also mismatch, but no.
Well, she also has round teal eyes, which in my opinion makes her really easy to draw.
Right.
And they're always shown in a wide, shocked expression because she's kind of like a robot, I guess. She's also a skilled drummer and performs in shows. I appreciate that they gave her like a drummer instead of a guitar, which seems to be the norm for a lot of Vocaloids. And she's even in the video game Mai Deluxe, which is cool. And like as we saw with the roller coaster, she's on the roller coaster too. So she's technically a video game character. She's been in 2 games.
Is that game the one?
Digital.
I was gonna say, is that the game where it looks like a washing machine that you play on?
I think it is, and I actually, if people check out my my walkthrough video, there's people playing that, and they are good.
Yeah,
like they're like ding dong, dick dick dong, dick dick dong dong. It's like,
yeah, I've
shit.
seen people on DDR that I'm like, that should not be humanly possible to do, but all right.
Yeah, kind of cool. Her stage performances use projection mapping to transform blank stage walls into various themed sets like giant cakes for birthdays. She also plays a central role in the Gekian live coaster, as I mentioned. And the history of her, she was inspired by Vocaloid characters such as Hatsune Miku, and several different outfits were briefly shown for her at the start of the Loppet special shows. So she's got style. She's got more than one look, but this is her main look. And let's just take a look. I have a video here. It's timestamped where this is the debut performance for the 2012 opening. And this is what one of her stage shows looks like.
Okay, let me put it on. Oh.
And I don't know if it's muted or not. I don't know if Polygon Pictures is going to come after us.
Okay, muted.
but
I don't
you can
want her
see
to
her here.
sue us.
Yeah.
So it has like this like 3D effect, or what's that? Like the audience is in the back. Or is it like an actual projection of her, not just on a TV?
It's a projection on a plastic screen kind of set back from the screen behind her. So it
Okay.
does give a 3D, a quasi 3D illusion, but then you can see there's a set around her. And I don't know if this was just for the opening, because I didn't get a clear look at her on on the screen, but I think this is actually maybe motion captured for the event.
Oh.
You can see her, she's like listening, and then like people come out and dance with her. But yeah, so that's
And
that's Loppet.
and how
Um,
was the screen quality on this technology? Like, did you think it looked good or eh?
I thought it was fine. Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
2012 screen tech. It's
Mm.
better than probably what it looked like when Joypolis opened, whatever was there initially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think I got really excited about Loppet
That's your new favorite?
because like I got really, and it wasn't until like I picked this up kind of like and didn't think not much of it, but then as I was reading about her, I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Like, she's a Sega theme park mascot. She's got the branding. She's got highly specific details to her character design. Like, her hair is made out of Dippin' Dots, but not just Dippin' Dots, strawberry cheesecake, because that's like a flavor that's popular there.
Oh.
So, she's kind of a very obscure Sega character that you can only experience in that park. She doesn't really exist outside of that. I don't know if there's hardcore Loppet fans. I'd like to think there are. Maybe I'm one. But
You're the only one.
yeah,
You're gonna start a fan club.
right. But I mean, it's better than Joypolis-kun, who looks like a sewer monster. Like, I don't know what that thing is, but yeah, Loppet. I love Loppet. I love Loppet. Um, Up next, you don't need to play it. It's a walkthrough video of the Japanese store. It's also on my videos that I put up on our channel.
Okay.
But I'll just say that the store itself was well stocked. It's not huge. There's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe like 6 long tables of merch. But surprisingly, Sonic, of course, has a decent showing, but surprisingly, the Yakuza franchise and RGG Studio has a whole shelf, which surprised me because outside of that, there is no Yakuza game, there's no Yakuza ride. It actually makes me think, as I mentioned at the top of the show, they're due for a refresh, and I think the smartest thing would be to put a Kamurocho like experience on the top floor.
Batting
I
cages.
think that would be so cool.
Just make it like the game. They have like little gimmick batting cages where they have like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pirate one has that they blow up in their barrels. Obviously, I don't know how they would do that in an event, but they have other gimmicks too in other games. But I don't know. It
Yeah.
would be cool. Imagine. I was gonna say, imagine walking into the streets of Kamurocho. I'm like, never mind. You could actually do that in Japan because it's right there. So that would be. But they could do other stuff. That would be cool. A refresh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not asking for them to like strip
The whole thing.
the whole place of its personality and like iconic games, but I think a corner, there actually are some like rotating corners up there on the 3rd floor that I think would be really cool. But yeah, the store itself, they had some Yakuza statues of the 3 lead characters. They were like $35 each, not bad. They weren't super ornate. They had like travel mugs with the RGG Studio logo on it, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe it was the Like a Dragon. Lots of Pirate Yakuza merch. The coolest shirts I saw was a 20th anniversary shirt for RGG Studio, but it was all like small size, unfortunately. And then a hooded sweatshirt that just said just had the RGG like name on it. The problem is I couldn't open the sweatshirt to see if there was anything on the back.
So, do you think that it was only smalls because that's the last to be left? Or do you think that
Yeah, I
Japanese
do.
people are just smaller and they just buy a lot of small shirts?
I don't I don't think so, because on the Sonic side they had a good selection of sizes, but I think Yakuza is, like it's a big boy brand, so you're going to get all the big boys coming in there and getting all the good stuff.
Right.
As far as Sonic merch, there were some cool shirts. I stood there for like 15 minutes holding a shirt, and then I was like, am I buying this shirt because I like it, or am I buying it because it's the only shirt here that's in my size, and it's not a white shirt? Like
Right.
I don't like white shirts because they get dirty easy, and I think I can tell you, George, I'm sure you agree, like you can see people's nipples through white shirts sometimes.
I mean, if you want to show off your nipples, obviously you need a lot of
Yeah.
white shirts. But yeah, there's some people that
I've-
like that.
I bought a white shirt one time, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I put it on, and the fabric was too thin, and you could see my nipples through the shirt. So I didn't.
Who told
like that.
you?
Like you could see a
Or did
darker
you see,
circle.
or did you see it like in the mirror? Like, how do you find out?
Yeah.
Or did somebody tell you?
I put it on, and I looked
Oh.
at myself in the mirror, and I could see through the white fabric, like where
Right,
they
right.
were, and I just thought it looked kind of weird.
And you never wore it
Um,
again, or
but
you
it's-
wore it after that, like for like a month?
It became a nighttime shirt.
Okay. I get that.
You know those. But as far as the Sonic stuff, they had some cool things. They had like some classic Sonic shirts, modern stuff. The Sonic and Shadow Generations, I feel like left a lot of shadowy kind of merch around. There were some holdovers from Superstars, like stickers. Sonic Mania had one piece of merch left, which was a notebook that I picked up because it was the only one. And I'm kicking myself here because I am seeing some really cool Loppet keychains that I completely missed. So I didn't get my Loppet keychain. But this was before I was a big Loppet fan. At least I
Right.
got my Loppet
This is a recent thing.
Loppet plush. There was another shelf of Sonic 3 movie merch. Nothing really stood out, though. It was a lot of like, they love those acrylic standees of characters.
Oh yeah, I don't like those.
I own maybe 3 from Sonic, and they're all right. I'm not too jazzed about those. But what I did see, and I didn't get them just because I was like, it's those iconic jackets in Japan.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? The ones with like the big pictures on the back,
Oh yeah.
and they zip up. They had a Sonic one in 2 different colors, and then they had a Shadow one. But it was all like the modern Sonic look, and the text on the back of the Sonic one said, "Let's fight," which made no sense to me. Like, I'm not looking to pick a fight in a Sonic shirt. And then the Shadow one said,
and like,
uh-huh.
when has Sonic's catchphrase been "Let's fight"?
Yeah, like I'm gonna mess you up, man. I'm in a Sonic jacket. And then they had a Shadow one. It said Japan, and that was really cool. But I'm not like a big enough Shadow fan to wear his clothing, so it's like I'm not gonna drop $60 on a Shadow jacket. But I truly wish they had like a classic Sonic one, kind of in the vibe of those the Sonic 2 Letterman jacket. Remember that classic one?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of a miss for me, the fact that there weren't like cool Sonic shirts, but I got a few things. I had fun. I mentioned Dippin' Dots ice cream. That's right there behind the shop. They had the strawberry cheesecake froyo, which I'm going to be on the lookout for, and then I'll bring Loppet and I'll do a video
You guys
of
on
me and Loppet.
Yeah, eating. What are they called again? Dippin' Dots.
Strawberry cheesecake Dippin' Dots. Yeah.
Do you like Dippin' Dots?
I do, actually. They're especially the ones that aren't ice cream, the ones that are like was it sorbet or sherbet?
Yeah.
They're I think they're reasonably healthy. Like better than ice cream.
Well, yeah,
You
better than
know?
ice cream for sure. But it's like saying smoking or vaping. I mean, obviously, yes.
Well,
Never having any of it is better, but yeah, I agree. Dip it.
should we do our sponsor now? This show's
Thank
sponsored
you,
by
Dippin'
Noom.
Dots. We love you, and
No.
they taste great.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was going to sponsor Noom. I'm on
Oh.
Noom again. I lost 6 pounds since last week. So there we go. Yeah, compare me to 2 months ago on the show, and you could see.
Congratulations,
I like
Barry.
Dots, Yeah, thank you. Well, I've got all these shirts I need to fit into. So, all right, we're going upstairs. Let's go upstairs. So, on the second floor, you're greeted actually by the Sonic Carnival, but off to the right, you're going to see the Transformers Human Alliance Special. It's a special version of the arcade light gun game Transformers Human Alliance, and it seats players inside the R360Z. Yes, there are R360s there. There's 3 or 4 of them, and
you rode this.
I'll tell you why I didn't ride.
Oh,
I'll tell you why I didn't.
No.
You're so disappointed in me.
Yeah.
I will say I rode the Storm G, and I didn't throw up. I did so well through it, but I did get the burps.
Oh.
Like after I'd go upside down, I'd be kind of like burp. And then I looked at people riding this one, and I was like, I think I would probably throw up. It was not. I've seen R360s. In fact, I'm almost 100%. I don't want to make the promise that when the Arcade Adventure 4 happens at Galloping Ghost in late 2025, I was told by the owner of Galloping Ghost to email him, get in touch with him, and he'll have the R360 up and running. So it's more than not happening, I guess. But this one, they spin like crazy.
That makes it more
and
fun.
I know, but I think I would have thrown up, unfortunately, because I ate lunch.
No.
I should have done this first, but I ate lunch and then I started doing these rides.
They want you to vomit. It's cool. I'm sure that's going to be like the highlight of their week. They're going to be like, oh my God, some American guy just vomited all over the place.
All right. So I'm shamed for the guy who's always like, oh, I wish I could ride an R360. I passed him up. But I honestly thought I would have thrown up. And also the ride was down for 2 hours.
Oh.
So when I didn't have food in my stomach, the ride wasn't working. When I had lunch, the ride was working. And I'm like, I don't think I can eat lunch and then get right on this thing. And thankfully, despite having that R360 successor, Transformers Human Alliance itself is not like, it's like one of those Chinese developed Sega light gun games. I've played it before. It's not the best. So
it's
I don't
weird
know. I felt
that they gave it this type of treatment. Like they really thought, I mean, maybe the Transformers license is actually huge. I don't know.
Right. I mean, if it was Afterburner Climax, I would have been in that machine. No question. But I think the fact that it was a light vomit included. I think the fact that it was a light gun game that I'm not too jazzed about. And then I also thought there's like a non-zero chance I would throw up on this. I think I made the right choice. And again, I think out of all the rides I went on, this one's going to be there the next time I'm in Japan. If I go to Japan in the next like 10 years, this will be there. But the other ones, I feel like they could go at any time. And this next one, so I did ride this. We're going to get into a lot of stuff I did now, which is good. This is the House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, The Attraction. And this one was cool. So it's 4-player House of the Dead. You share a seat with someone, and then next to you are 2 other people in a seat. And you go through the first stage of the House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, a game that I have not actually played that much. I always see it, but I haven't really like gotten into it too much. But it's cool. You buckle yourself in, the lights go down a little bit, and you're basically competing with everyone in the entire attraction for, I think it's I don't know how many people there are. Like maybe looking at the picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe like 10.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so I was actually solo. It was funny because it was all filled, everyone up to me, and then it was me, no one next to me, and no one next to me, and no one next to me. So I had no help, and I think I was doing the best I could. I think I placed 6 out of all the people, so I didn't do great. I think I was like 6 out of 8, but like, what am I gonna do? I'm playing House of the Dead 4-player alone.
That's kind of weird.
But
So
that one,
it's just the game.
yeah,
And was there any like special features, like did the seat rock or anything like that?
the seats moved.
Okay, okay.
The seats moved back, forth, front. It was like a 4DX theater experience. There was no heat, no smell. Like, they didn't go that deep, but it's fun. I like the setup. I think it's really cool that it opens itself up to like re-themes. But for the time being, like, the fact that, I mean, you look at all the rides here, this is really the only non-Sonic SEGA franchise to have its own attraction. So I had to ride this. And I don't think it disappointed. It wasn't like next level stuff. Like, I wasn't like leaving it going, oh my God, I've never experienced something like that. But I've never played House of the Dead like that, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. The next one coming up, I had to play also at Sonic Athletics, and you can see me as Silver the Hedgehog in this picture,
Okay.
and then a little girl as Amy.
Who's this
with her
person
parents.
that's like, I'm just gonna block the screen?
So that's the operator,
Oh.
and they're very nice. There are some rides, and we'll get to them, that are not English friendly, but every ride that are English friendly, they have these little English language packets that they come out. So they'll give the spiel to everyone riding the ride or doing the game, and then as they talk, they'll go through these booklets so I can see what they're saying. And it actually was very helpful because this game specifically, it's a little odd at first, but you're all on treadmills. You're all holding onto these bars, and then next to your thumbs are action buttons. And until the game starts, the treadmill doesn't run, or it doesn't become loose. And so it's not as though it runs on its own. It runs under your power. So you can conceivably outrun yourself and then like fall off of it. So they're very strict about 2 hands on the bar, etc. And basically it's the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games assets, but without Mario, and it's all track and field. And you go through, I think, 3 or 4 mini games, and at the end there's a medal ceremony. And so this game's been there for quite a while. I think it might have opened, I don't know if it opened with the 2012 version, but I've heard about this game and seen pictures about it for years, and it's an exclusive. Like, you can't find this specific game anywhere else.
And that's how most of the
Mm-hmm.
Joy, like, they already know that foreigners are gonna come, and it's like they have cards for all these rides.
Yeah, they do. So they are very English friendly. Like, no one, when I was in other parts of Japan, people would go, I don't speak no English. But here, no one was ever like, no English. They were more just like, let me get my English my English book and page through it.
Got you. All right.
And all the staff too, they had like color coded costumes that look like you see this woman's wearing. It's got stripes.
Mm-hmm.
It's got these like circles with lines. It's actually kind of like Loppet's dress. Like, they have some elements from her.
I mean, she's
in fact,
no
I
Loppet,
think that's the
but,
colors.
I mean, she's a nice
She's
lady,
no Loppet, but
not a mascot.
yeah. But I was obsessed with their costumes. Specifically, they had these cool ass utility belts with walkie-talkie holders that were branded SEGA. It had a battery pack in the walkie-talkie, and in like the holder It was a black fabric holder. It had a white Sega on it, and I'm like, I gotta get me that. Maybe I can get a job there and like steal it. I don't know.
You would work there?
But yeah, Sonic Athletics was fun. It's a fun all ages game. It's really cool to like compete against other people, especially when you don't speak the language, but you're all like racing each other.
Especially children.
I think it's very fitting.
Because it's easy. They have small legs, so you can outrun them very easily.
Amy Rose actually won.
Wow.
She won.
And she was in a disadvantage, so give her props.
Yeah, she had a false start on one of the games, but I guess they didn't. But you can see in the picture too, this is version 1.1 of the game. So it's not like they've been updating it. So I feel like before they replace this, they're probably going to like, they could always like update it with new characters, you know, who knows. But yeah, that gets a thumbs up from me. I really like that. Next up is one I didn't experience, but it was actually like 2 weeks old. It was like a brand new attraction, and it's called Mission Spark. And it's not, to my knowledge, Sega developed. It's just, you can see in the picture here, you just kind of run around and like hit things on the wall fast. And that didn't sound too fun to me.
It's kind of like a
you know?
futuristic, like, what's that hammer with the gophers?
Oh, whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole. I'm like assuming you're touching these black circles and trying to make them go away or something.
I think so. And it actually was replacing something, I believe it was replacing something called Tower Tag VR, which was a VR shooting game. It looks, because I'm seeing that in the paper guide here, but I'm not seeing this in the guide. So I guess they're due for a reprinting. But yeah, no, it didn't look too special to me. I ignored it. What I didn't ignore, and this is a very cool one. So, and there's a picture of Storm G, or Mission Spark. You can see it the outside there. You know,
it has a bunch of clock stuff.
Yeah, looks interesting. I guess you go through time. I don't know. But this is exciting. So Storm G, this is one with some history. So I almost feel like it's worthy of doing a Sega talk.
Whoa.
I don't know how long it would be.
Right.
But this game was originally called Power Sled, which debuted in July 1996. So this is like at least the location for this, it's an OG, like mid-90s Joypolis attraction. The original Power Sled only had you leaning from side to side. It was developed by Sega AM5. There's actually like a whole thing about the design, the release history. I do believe even Michael Jackson played a part in the rollout.
Nice.
So that's why I'm like, this might be a fun one to do a Sega talk of. But Power Sled was replaced in 2009 by this game called Storm G. And to my knowledge, even though Power Sled had, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Power Sled had 10 locations, and now that number is 0.
Wow.
This game that replaced it, Storm G, has, to my knowledge, 1 location, and that's at Joypolis here. And it took the original game, Power Sled, which was like a left to right snow bobsled game, and it like pushed it to the extreme where it's like a Sega 3D downhill racer with 360 degree movement. So
wow.
you go up walls, and then when you blast off, you go all the way around. And you can control how many times you do it. You can even, it's really funny, you can actually vote with the other players if you're going to do the basic track or the extreme one, which like has you turning around every like 20 seconds or
right.
something. But the game itself, it has like in-game characters, like each racer has a name, kind of like F-Zero, you know? And yeah, it's like, it's cool because it's a Sega developed arcade game from 2009 with like a setting and story, very light story, I guess, and characters, but it only exists in this venue. It's the only place to play it. So, you know, Transformers R360, I regret not doing that, but this one I would have definitely regretted not trying. And it's two tiers.
Oh,
too.
really?
You sit in the front and a friend sits behind you. Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna say the logo
And
is old red Sega logo, kind of, right? For Storm King?
Yeah. It's got like a little bit of a Sega vibe to the branding there with the
Yeah.
It's kind of the Sega font.
Kind of. They made it thinner.
And then you can see the machines here. It's also kind of the Joypolis font on some other lockups.
Oh.
Lots of Sega branding throughout. Huge screens, very loud. There's a whole locker system too. You can see here, you like put your stuff in the locker. No loose things in your pockets, otherwise the game like shuts down if it triggers things falling out. And yeah, I actually think out of all the games, this was the most technically impressive, just because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 8 players in 4 like pods going 360 degrees down a racetrack. It's so cool. And I was initially like, I'll go upside down a few times, but after the first time I did it, I'm like, I'm gonna go upside down as many times as I can, because I realized I've never been upside down.
Really?
Like, think about it. How many times have, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can like lay on a couch or kind of like stand on your head, but have you physically sat in place and had your whole body rotated?
I mean, outside of like does roller coasters count? You're sitting down. That's not the same, right?
I guess.
The Riddler one
I
in
guess.
LA, you're standing on it and you do go upside down. Like it's like a standing one.
All right, roller coasters, you got me there, but sedentary maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little more rare.
So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. It's just a very cool, exclusive Sega developed game. 2009. Like, what was Sega doing in 2009? I guess Virtua Fighter 4 and the Yakuza series was just starting.
2009
maybe, and
I think it was.
Yeah.
So Yakuza was 2006. That was when Sega was making maybe like Bayonetta and Vanquish, and they were publishing. I think Binary Domain was getting close. I think no, that was in 2012. But yeah, those are the ones I could think of.
And it's kind of the last gasp of their like arcade.
Oh. For sure.
Game manufacturing, for sure. It's kind of like you don't see this sort of stuff from them anymore. So yeah, this one gets a huge thumbs up from me. It was definitely a big defining moment at the park. This next bit, Sonic Carnival. This is very kid oriented, but this statue obviously is iconic. The area around the Sonic statue, which they gotta have Sonic, are basically like little arcade games, or not arcade games, like carnival games, basically, like throw the ball or, hit the thing and make the stuff, fly.
Right.
And they had some guys standing around in uniforms for this specific area, but it is very kid focused. And there are coin machines, and this is the only area that used like specialty coins. And I'll just show mine on camera here instead. But here's the coin. Let's see if you can see it. Can you see it a little bit? I have better pictures. Let's see. I have pictures at the very end of the album of it too that we can look at the show close. But it's basically a coin that says Amusement Theme Park Sega with Classic Sonic, and on the back it says Carnival Coin for amusement only. So it's just cool to get like a Sega coin, but apparently you use those coins to play the arcade games, and I'm like, or the carnival games, and I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I spend 500 yen on this coin and then give it away to lose at a carnival game? Or do I keep it? And this is better than getting nothing. So I kept it. And like I said, physical money was very limited on our trip. That was our one mistake. So I wasn't about to like blow it all on these machines. I had to hold on to it, but this was one where I was like, I gotta definitely get this.
You play Yakuza games. You know that if you're in the streets and Kazuma Kiryu pops around, you're gonna have to give him money after he beats you up. So you should have brought the cash.
I was in an area of Japan and I looked out and there was a tall guy, like one of the few times I saw a very tall Japanese guy, and you know where my mind instantly went.
Right.
It was Mr. Shakedown, and I was like, we got to leave this area. It was so funny. Like, you're there long enough, and you're like, you walk around Japan, and sometimes your Sega rotted mind will either go, oh, this feels like Shenmue, or this feels like Yakuza. And when you're in that mindset and you see a tall guy, you're like, I'm fucked.
It's over.
I can't.
I brought no cash.
I didn't. I think between my dad and I, we had $30 American.
I don't like traveling with cash either, because it just feels like it's easier to be stolen.
But I feel like because of that, I did not do any capsule machines. I did like one capsule machine my entire visit. And that's because I thought I've been conditioned by the capsule machines, at least in the Chicago area, because we have Bandai Namco is around here. So nice. They have tons of capsule machines, but they're all, you swipe a credit card and then they give you coins specific for the machines. And I don't know why my brain thought that. But yeah, in Japan, it's like you got to use yen. Thankfully, I did bring home some yen. I actually got a coin from 1987, so it's kind of Shenmue era. That was kind of exciting. Let's go get something at the D Lounge. So coming up next is the last stop on the second floor, and this is kind of like the fast food area. There's light drinks, caffeinated beverages. You can see more of it in my other videos here, but I just wanted to focus on the chili dog that they had for 500 yen, and
how much is that?
That's nothing.
This is a sad-looking dog, by the way. Like
$3.
Costco's just
$3.
Costco's what is it? $1.50? I don't know how much is in Costco, the hot dog thing.
For a chili dog, though? Well, I'll share my.
Okay, you're the one that tasted it.
So here's the chili dogs they have at Joypolis. There's the picture of the menu, the picture of the chili dog. The next one is not a chili dog. It's me as a manatee, which is like a whole different thing.
Different flavor, too.
But what I appreciated about the chili dog is I've never had one like it. It was not bad, but it was made, every ingredient was a Japanese ingredient, if that makes sense. It was like, do you think Japan has the best hot dog buns? No, they have their own bread. Do you think Japan has hot dogs? No, they have like their own sausages. Do you think they have their own chili? Kind of, but it's like Japanese chili. And then even the cheese sauce, I think, might be a non-dairy thing because they're not really big into dairy there, right? So
I thought it was mustard.
The end result was, it almost looks like it, but no, it's like a cheese sauce. So the end result was I thought it was an okay chili dog, but the fact that it was so hyper Japanese in the fact that they tried to make a chili dog, but did it all, I don't want to say wrong, but did it all their way, made it special, if that makes sense. Like if I sat down and ate this and I'm like, oh man, this is such a good chili dog. I feel I'm at the place down the street back in Chicago, like that's not too exciting. I'd rather have a chili dog that's like weird than forgettable because it was so, I don't know. It kind of goes back to like the best Sega games are 7 out of 10s.
Right.
And so I would say this is a 7 out of 10 chili dog, but it's the best because where else am I going to get it? Plus it's a Joypolis chili dog. It's an official Sega chili dog.
And like,
come on.
We invented the hot dog, so it's kind of hard to beat the master at their craft,
For sure. And you want to hear how pathetic I am? I'm looking at this picture right now, and I'm kicking myself for not saving that box that the chili dog came in. But it's not branded, thankfully. If I saw a Sega or a Joypolis or a Sonic on that box, I would be pissed off right now. But it's fine. Um, all right, all right. Let's go up. Oh, I didn't talk about the. Okay, so as you sit in this cafe, you can walk up to a camera and take your picture, and then there's these three big video screens that are kind of connected, and giant manatees with your face appear and the faces of other people. It's like Seaman. They swim around, and then there's a button that you can push, and food drops down, and they go up and eat. It's the weirdest thing, but it's pretty cool.
What
It's very.
is there something in Japan about manatees and the people there?
No, I think it's just weird. Japan being weird for the sake of being weird. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Maybe they secretly all want to be manatees, or they like mistranslated it in English, and they're like, "This is what Americans are," I guess, or related to. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't get it, but yeah, it's weird.
It's weird, but I appreciated
It's like
it.
manatee, so you're like, yeah. Sorry.
Humanity.
Humanity. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so we're going up to the third floor. So the third floor, and again, looking at this map, I don't know if each floor has a theme. They don't now, but if you look at Sega Retro at old versions of Joypolis, each floor used to have like a name or a theme. It would be like, I'm just off the top of my head, like making something up, but it would be like, like the wonder, and then like the imagination, like,
Right.
if you remember, we did that, we did Sega World Sydney. Remember how they had like a time travel theme, and it was like
Right.
the past, the present, the future. Like, it was that sort of mindset back in the day. Now it's not present. I wish it was. I think it would have been cool. But the general vibe of the third floor are like the big motion attractions, which is odd because you'd think you want those on the first floor because they're hard to like move to the third floor.
Yeah.
And usually you don't put the heavy machinery above 2 stories
Why-
because it's like
yeah.
dangerous, maybe.
Or even like you're
Like
making more work for yourself.
Right, but that's how it is. Like, the giant moving machinery was up on 3 for whatever reason. And so this first one, it's probably one of the newer editions. It's called Mystic Mansion Tale of Pandemonium. And they are, I don't think Sega had any part in this, but it's they're like yokai creatures. You've probably seen these before, especially the umbrella with the big licky tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you go in, you sit in these theater seats facing these like traditional Japanese paper doors, and you put on 3D glasses. The doors open, and then these yokai creatures come on the screen in 3D, and they're talking about something, and then there's a giant bone monster, and the walls to the left and right of you become video screens, and the bone monsters are climbing up the wall, trying to come in.
Sounds kind of scary.
And then it is kind of scary. The seats move back and forth, and then the physical theater itself turns 360, so you can face the window to the left, the window to the right, even the windows behind you. You can see them on that at the entrance there. They have like kind of animatronic versions of those characters dropping down at times and talking to you. The theater gets set on fire, and the room physically goes up in temperature by like 30 degrees. It actually is like, it becomes like 90 degrees in there, which is surprising. There's wind effects. So it is like the most immersive new Joypolis show. I don't know why they went with this. I guess it's traditional Japanese. Personally, I think it should have been like a Sega license. I think that would have been more exciting. But it's cool. I liked it. It is the ride I got yelled at though for taking my camera out.
Why? Just for the camera?
Japan in general is very strange about taking photos or videos, even to the point where it's like, I'm at a theme park, I want to record this, and they're like, please no photography or video, and it's like, Why? Because people will like not want to ride this. It's weird.
Maybe they're
Um,
like shy, camera shy. The people that go there.
maybe they are. But there is a 20-minute or 20-second clip of what the ride looks like. We can check out here. So we got the boys and their girlfriends
All right.
going on another ride together.
Is it? I mean, I'm assuming this is like a date thing. Usually, was there a lot of people dating?
Maybe like the girlfriend gets scared.
Ah,
But people were interacting there. They were waving and like talking to it, which was kind of funny. But you get a sense. I thought it was cool. It wasn't. They weren't like characters. I'm like, I know enough about yokai. I've seen those classic movies, but you know, I think if it was something like
but have you played
Sonic or
Yokai Watch, the game on the 3DS?
I haven't. I want to. Yeah. I know that's Sega made, right? Like Sega made and owned. They tried to do their own Pokemon.
I think that one was a different
really-
company. I think Sega tried to do something else. I forgot what it was, but
Mm.
yeah. So,
Oh yeah.
what do you think about the yokai as in the culture of Japan? How they like they're like literal characters. They're like for kids, right?
Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting because it obviously comes from folklore, but the fact that some of those characters are so well defined that you can like go on this ride and they look a lot like something from like a movie 30 years ago. I guess it's like the equivalent of like how Snow White, even though if it's like the Disney one or not, she always kind of looks the same.
Right.
But
But it would be
Yeah,
kind of like
I think this is like-
Jesus being in like other like because I mean like they are
Yeah,
supposed to be like
I
the
get what you
spiritual
mean.
creatures, but I guess China does that though with their like whole like. I mean, isn't there? I don't know how China does it. Never mind.
I don't know if it's a religious meaning behind them though. It's more they're more just like spirits of nature, like nature spirits.
I guess they have those
It's
with
interesting.
fairies and stuff in the European cultures. So I guess it's not that unheard of to do something like that. I guess, right?
I guess so. Yeah. Well, speaking of fairies, I don't know. Let's go into Fortune Forest.
Oh, and this is on
So
your
this,
video.
This is this is the first ride I actually went on while I was there.
Nice.
And it just because it looked so strange to me. So Fortune Forest, let's get I'm getting the video up here. Let me know when you're ready and I can.
Oh, I
kinda
was
talk
already
through it.
playing it. Wow.
Oh, okay,
Wait,
that's not a problem.
what minute were you in?
So
I could play it. Okay, I got it.
we can.
I'm playing it now. You could.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so Fortune Forest, it looks like the outside looks like Rainforest Cafe. And that's kind of what drew me to it. I was like, this is something weird. Like something's hidden back here. It's not a ride. It's like a walkthrough. What is this? And so they handed me a crystal. And I went in and there were these little areas to place them. And thankfully it's all in English. There's a language setting. And I was really confused. I didn't know what this was until I started doing it and I realized it's like it's like a glorified fortune that you get read. And so you enter your name, and as I was recording, I'm like, last name.
Sorry.
I'll put Nomad.
Sorry, I was gonna say like the little bubbles that come up. They remind me of like the
Yeah.
Dreamcast menu a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I'm trying to figure out as the video plays, when this opened. Fortune Forest. Okay, so as I mentioned, Tokyo Joypolis had multiple like reimaginings. So remember I said there was the 96 opening, the 2000 reimagining of it, the 2012. This was actually a 2006 edition. So it's when Sega were relatively new to leaving the first party behind, but they still had the arcades going strong. And the developer of this there's two people behind it. So it's Family Entertainment and Polygon Pictures. Polygon Pictures, I don't know too much about it, but it's a Japanese animation studio. And then Family Entertainment is actually a division of Sega. So it's a development team that we don't really talk about that much, even though they have made a few games for the DS. They've made some. They made one Sega ring-wide arcade game. They made one Game Boy Advance game. So it's very interesting because, like, as I was going through this, there's something very dated about it, but very charming.
Yeah.
And I also, again, it feels like one of the attractions that will be gone sooner than later. It like I said, it feels dated. People who were going through it were either into it or confused by it. Some people didn't even go through the whole process. They'd start doing it and then they're like, I'm going to leave. This is weird. But I mean, for me, it's kind of like peak weirdo Sega.
Right.
You know, it's like a walk through forest with crystals and fortune telling. And I don't know where I'm at here, but I think I'm putting in what month I'm born or something like that. I'm like, man, this is a lot of information to be giving.
Right. On your, like, they ask for all your info, like they're making an AI robot about you. But
right. If you skip ahead to like 620.
Sorry, can you say it again?
If you skip ahead to like 620.
Okay, I'm right about. Oh, it's like that fish thing or whatever is happening here.
Yeah, so then it started doing odd things. I moved to a different area. It was a talking tree.
Right.
And you can see the trees above, and there's like this spirit talking to me. It was very dark in there, very moody. But I asked about love and sex, and it started having me like mix around the pebbles in the water. And I was like, this is so... Who made this? This is so weird.
It's
and then again, if you skip...
I think it's... I mean, it's...
Skip ahead to like...
Which time?
What's that?
What time?
8:10.
Gotcha.
So this was me kind of finishing up my time at the second station with the tree. And again, if people want to check out the full, I guess, walkthrough or playthrough, but then you pick up your crystal, and you go to the exit basically, and you put the crystal in, I guess, the third station, and there's a printer there, and it prints out a certificate of your fortune with all your details. It's very wordy. There's a lot of information there, and yeah,
what was your
I was
fortune?
just kind of like, that's for me.
Okay,
that's my
that's
personal.
What I figured.
No, if I could actually be honest, it's sitting over there in like in a folder, and I forgot to put it next to me here. But you'll see it on the video here. It's very like in depth, and on the back of the paper has like ads for what's happening like currently in Joypolis. So clearly they're like this 2006, this game that's like 20 years old.
They wrote
They're
like
still
a
printing out
article about you.
Oh, really?
I mean, in the in the video, it looks like
I
a
know.
Wikipedia
Look at it.
article. The way it's formatted, so much text.
It's so long. Yeah, and so that's Fortune Forest, and I gotta say, out of everything I did there, that is the weirdest one.
I believe
but it's
it.
also one of the more memorable ones because you can't emulate this. This is not something that you can, enjoy on your PC at home or something. It's a Sega experience, and I've never really experienced something like that, if that makes sense. Like, I've always played Sega games, but I've never been on a Sega developed
attraction,
like walk through interactive attraction. It was very odd, but it was very I don't know, it was kind of relaxing. I felt like I entered the Fortune Forest. I don't know, it's odd, but I really liked it, actually. It's probably next to Storm G, one of my favorite things I did there. Now, the complete other end of the spectrum, Attack on Titan, the attraction. This is something that is in an area that I presume is swapped out a lot, because I've heard, I think at least 2 or 3 years ago, that something completely different was there. I did not do this. It was very popular. It had like a 45 minute wait, but it essentially is just a walkthrough. You can see the video that I linked there. There is
they put you in prison.
A staff. Yeah, it's a staff member who talks to you, and obviously I wouldn't understand them. And then there's like a prison. You're like watching video clips, and I'm not a big Attack on Titan fan. I'm sure if you were, this is like a must do, but it wasn't really for me, and I decided instead to go ahead to. And this is cool. So there is, and again, I think this is worthy of a SEGA talk, but there is a trilogy of wild adventure games. So the first one was Wild Wing. You can see it here. This and the other two are like a classic Joypolis situation. These are multi-seat vehicles that you sit in, and then it pushes you physically into a theater with a surrounding screen. To my memory, there's no I don't think there's wind. There might be wind effects, but there's no water splashing you or anything. And they are simulator rides, no 3D glasses or anything. But these things are very much of an era. And I'm trying to see when the earliest one came out. I do believe these were from so this was 2004. So these are ones that were coming out when Joypolis were less than 10 years old. They're very old attractions compared to a lot of other stuff there. And the developer of these is a developer I've never heard of, but they're called the SEGA Adventure Company. And you see their name a few times throughout the attractions. They were founded in 99, so around the time that, the Dreamcast was around. And as of 2015, they're defunct because the last ride they made was a reimagining of the Wild River ride, which was a launch attraction, I believe, for Joypolis. So in this one, you're in a multi-seat vehicle that's being towed by a biplane. There's lots of falling off of cliffs, and it gets all crazy. Yeah, that's Wild Wing. Do you have any Wild Wing questions? I don't really know what to say about it.
I'm waiting for the Wild Wings movie universe to happen before I get too excited about these rides. But I mean, Disney makes movies of their attractions. Why not Sega? So maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you have a clip here of it?
Well, the next one,
or is that the Brothers one?
We're gonna have a clip for the Wild River.
Yeah, I got you.
But the next one's Wild Jungle Brothers, and there's a couple pictures here. They have a car busting through a wall, and they put Sonic and Tails plushies in there. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, Wild Jungle Brothers is also it was a 2006 release. So this was, if I'm correct, a replacement for the ride Wild Jungle. So I believe this came out 6 years after that one. So it's kind of a reasonably early replacement. But in this one, you're in a Jeep. It's the same ride system, but instead of giving you the sensation of flying, it gives you the sensation of a really bumpy Jeep ride through a jungle. You go into ancient temples. There's skeletons and bugs, I guess, rolling boulders. they do the classic Indiana Jones boulder, but there's like 6 of them, and you're driving through the jungle and they're like rolling all over the place. It's madness. Um, and then the third one, which was unfortunately not functioning, was Wild River: The Treasure Hunt. And Wild River, the original one, was I do believe a opening Joypolis attraction. I might be wrong, but it was a very old one. And this reimagining came out actually in 2015. So it's the newest of all of these games, or these rides, and also to date the final release from the Sega Adventure Company. And this would have been the one. It's still the same ride vehicle system, but it gives the look of like being on a yellow river raft. So it's river rafting through, water and caves. And yeah, so all 3 of these, same ride system, different experiences, flying, rivers, and jeeps. The tie-in is that they're all from the Sega Adventure Company, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, that original Wild River, I'm looking it up here. So that was originally an AM5 developed game, and then after the success of it, they spun this team off from AM5 and called them Sega Adventure Company, and they only did these I don't know what you call them, not VR, but like simulator rides. Yeah. And the original Wild River was actually quite popular. They're all gone now, but it at least existed in like 12 venues. They even had some in other countries, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm looking at Shanghai had one. They were all over Japan. So yeah, it's unfortunate that Wild River wasn't working, just because, like I said, it was.
It looks fun in the video.
Technically, like, yeah. But yeah, that's the Wild River kind of trio or trilogy, and yeah, you played that video, so it does show
right
all 3 of them, and you can see like the ride vehicle goes in, comes out, and the funniest thing was, I think it was the Jungle Brothers one. There was a woman operating the ride, and if you watch my videos, you can kind of hear her in one part. She has the highest pitched voice, and she's like, "Hello, welcome," and you're like, "Oh my god, this lady's voice is so high pitched." And then she's basically saying, "I'm going to come through and make sure all of your, the bars come down. We're going to make sure all your bars are locked." And when she pulled on each bar, she would go, "Ugh," like with the lowest voice possible. Which was so funny. And then when she's on, she's like, "Great, everything's good." You're like, "All right." So that's that. And then closing things out on that floor were several very Japanese-heavy games. One I regret not being able to play, but because of the language barrier, I couldn't. It was a Ace Attorney game. But from what I can tell, despite there being a really cool recreation of Phoenix Wright's office, and cool posters too, with like original art from the artists on display, the actual experience is all over Joypolis. So you go up to little machines. You, I guess, are playing a game of Ace Attorney throughout the park. And kind of like that one we talked a little bit about earlier on, where you like carry a camera around you. I just didn't really want to commit to a treasure hunt throughout the whole theme park when I wanted to ride rides. But
I mean,
what do you think about Ace Attorney?
I think it's cool. It's like a little like what do they call them here in America? Those little like mystery rooms or whatever, where I guess, and they have like a mystery to solve with friends. I think this would be fun if they obviously made an American themed version of it. But yeah, the language barrier would kill it. I do like that they have one of these, but I mean, it should have been Rhythm Thief something in there. I mean, I feel like it's Capcom, but it's a Sega
Yeah,
place. But
but
it's
I
cool.
feel this one needs to be translated though, because of all the stuff I saw. Like, this is super popular in America. I'm kind of surprised they have that language barrier there. Um, this next one, I didn't really know much about it until I left and did the research. So Murder Lodge. Um, from the outside, you're like, what the hell is this? Like,
Yeah.
is it like Friday the 13th or something? There's like a hockey mask, but I looked into it. So Murder Lodge is a Tokyo Joypolis experience or ride that is as old as the park. It
Wow.
actually went away for a while, and then they brought it back. And this experience, you sit in darkness at like a dinner table with friends. You put on these headsets, and it plays a 3D sound like experience, I guess, of you being at a dinner party in a cabin, and there's like a murderer like
Mm.
terrorizing you. And so you sit in the dark and react. And even though, had I known that, I still probably wouldn't have done it. Not because I'm squeamish, but just because, again, you can see here it's a group activity, and I would
Right.
have been like shacked up with like 7 Japanese people who probably didn't want me along there. So, um, but yeah, looking back though, this is kind of cool. There were over a dozen of these in various places throughout Jap Japanese theme park. Gigo had them. Joypolis had them. Um, Club Sega had them at one point. So it was a rather popular attraction that's basically all audio. And I looked up who made this. So it's from a Sega staffer named Kazuhiko Nagai. And he was largely a musician for Sega. He did a lot of theme park or Joypolis works. He married a member of the Sega sound team. So he's like married into the SST band, which is kind of funny. And looking at his gameography, it's very interesting. He's done coding for like Outrun and Enduro Racer, so he's from like those classic '80s Sega arcade games. He did sound for Maze Hunter 3D, uh, Space Harrier 2. He did. He was a director for Zillion 2. He even worked on Phantasy Star 2 for sound effects. So this is a guy who, when you look at his gameography, it's quite impressive, and it's very rooted in like 80s and 90s Sega arcade stuff. He even like helped with, I guess, accessories for arcade machines like Space Harrier, probably like the mechanics and stuff. So this is like he's 64 now, but yeah, this is a guy with an impressive history who did this, I guess, audio only arcade game. It kind of reminds me of Real Sound from Kenji
Right.
Eno. Remember that one?
Right. That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. The same thing.
So I think that's really cool. It shows that Joypolis still has like, they're kind of in touch with their history. The fact that they revived a game that or an experience, I guess, that launched with the theme park in '96, and I mean, currently it's the only place to experience this game. So yeah, that's cool. I didn't do it, but do I regret it? I don't know. It would have been weird to be yelled at in the dark by a Japanese guy in my ears.
I would
Would you have
agree.
done it?
I would if I had a group of people. Yeah, I would have done it, but not with other people. And if I
Yeah.
spoke Japanese, of course I would have done it. But like I don't speak Japanese, so I would feel like a burden as well.
Right. You don't want to be a burden. That's
No.
like the most, like, the Japanese would, I think, appreciate that you're not being a burden. This next one is one that I feel has switched out a few times. It's Sadaku, The Curse of Psychic Manor, and yes, this is The Ring. It's a ring attraction, a
Wow.
horror attraction. You can feel the fear and excitement not only in its gimmicks and stage effects, but as set, sound, and lighting, but also the lively feeling staging of combined show elements acted by our actors and actresses. So what I looked it up, and basically what they do is they lock you in like a little coffin with a screen, and then an actress physically comes out dressed as the ring girl, and like pounds on the window and does stuff, and like inside the pod there's lights and sounds and creepy stuff, and I didn't do that because it sounded weird.
Right.
And I didn't want to get spooked out at Joypolis, but I think it's probably a good like date activity. And then the next one is one that I hardly looked at. I took one picture. I had no idea what it was, but it was called the Lola and Carla Beauty Contest. And it's, I guess, kind of like Fortune Forest, where you go into a room, you type out information, and then I guess you get employed by a hostess club, and you get interviewed, and like they take your photo, but it's very like girly role playing. We have a video clip here. You can see it.
Oh, I'm assuming. I mean, you should have done this. If I was there, we would have done this. You know that, right?
If there was any area to re-theme as Yakuza, it's this one. If they made this a Kazuma, like he was leading one of the clubs and he's like recruiting you, can you imagine? That would be
probably
so
bring
cool.
in more chicks too, because Kazuma Kiryu is pretty. He's the man.
He is cute, but
adorable.
I don't really regret not doing it. I think they use this space for birthday parties too. I could be wrong, so I didn't know what was going on, honestly. But now we're going to finish up our time at Joypolis with some lunch. So the menu in the Frame Cafe was pretty cool. It had sandwiches, Japanese pizza, as they call it.
How's that taste?
I don't know. My dad tried it. He didn't really comment on it, but I guess it was fine. But I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get a meal here, I'm gonna go all out. I got everything off the Easter menu. It was their special menu, and man, this was a wild sandwich. So you can see here, the sandwich. It was a teriyaki breaded chicken with egg salad on top, and then you see those 3 eggs that are on top of it. Those are actually quail eggs dyed. So it's chicken covered with egg salad and 3 quail eggs.
Have you ever had quail eggs before?
I haven't, and they were good. They were like mini boiled eggs. They were pretty good. And then on the right side there, you have the dessert. It was a little bunny snack, and this was actually like I think calorie wise, like the biggest meal I ever had in Japan, and probably since my trip. And then I had to get something alcoholic, so I got this like mint julep thing they had going on.
What time was it?
It's like 12:30.
That's
noon,
fine.
Afternoon.
Yeah. Then it makes it okay. Then I heard somewhere.
But yeah, the food quality was good. I don't have much more to say. It's the theme menu. I wish it was Sega themed, but it can't all be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, I'm happy that they celebrate the resurrection of Christ over there in Japan. So
thank you. I didn't know if we could get into that, but yeah. But yeah, it's like if you're going to be at Joypolis on Easter weekend, why not? Right. And there's a quick video here because I didn't shoot video of the cafe itself. I don't know if
people
you played it
happy.
yet, but it just...
Yeah, I'm playing it. These people are happy to be here.
I feel like it's the same 4 people in all these videos.
Yeah.
Look at their tiny pizzas.
Like, what? Yeah, that's a no-go.
But I will say Frame Cafe has a beautiful view. Remember that view I showed at the beginning? You
Hmm.
see that, but from like the third story. And there's an outdoor seating area, which is very nice. The food, again, throughout my entire trip, food was so affordable. I think like cheap meals there were like $3 or $4. Um,
Poor
this meal
Japan.
was, I think, when I went to Tokyo Disneyland, dinner there was $12, and here I think dinner, that whole meal, I think was like 20
Yeah.
for all that, and that's, I think in America just the sandwich would be like 20,
Well,
unfortunately.
I mean,
Um,
the yen is crashing. I mean, that's the reason it's so cheap compared to the U.S. dollar. But it's good for
on
people
one
that
hand,
visit.
yeah.
But go
On the
on.
other hand, I'm like, we need to make food more affordable in America, because I'm like, why isn't food like $3? Why am I spending $15 on a sandwich?
Because people are
Um,
buying it. That's the
that's true.
reason. The lines are out there. I've seen the lines out there. But yeah, go
um,
on.
so these last bits here, this is another thing I really appreciated about Joypolis as a whole, is that they didn't forget their history.
Oh,
They
nice.
had autographs. These were probably at the time of the opening when they had celebrities come out. You can see them here. It's Michael Jackson, December 1996. A Sega Saturn ad in the background there behind him. It's just like perfect, you know, distillation of that era. Joypolis, Michael Jackson, Sega Saturn. And yeah, Joypolis as a whole, it is born of that Saturn Sega era. And I really appreciated that. It's kind of like you go to an archaeological site, and as you dig down deeper, you can see the different levels of history there. And just like that at Joypolis, you'll see things from 1996, you'll see things from 2000, from 2012, from 2025. It's actually kind of a lot like going to Disneyland, and you're
Mm,
like, oh man, this ride's been here since the beginning, and this ride just opened last year, but they're all there together. And I really appreciated that element of it. I even saw Toby Maguire's autograph, which was kind of funny.
I see.
Um,
Freddie Prince Jr. had a uh beautiful, great experience at this place.
I know I had a great experience.
Like, and he had to put it in all caps, so you know it's real. Yeah.
Right, and then Leonardo DiCaprio was there too.
What does it say?
That's cool.
All the what?
Uh, all the best.
Oh, all the best. I for some reason it looked like the like all the rat, and I'm like, that makes no sense. All the best, of
But
course.
you got to hand it to MJ. He knew how to make a signature. Leonardo DiCaprio, I think he signed thinking more people would sign their name. And it's like, no,
Mm,
Leo, this is your area. Like,
yeah,
this isn't like the
it,
Hollywood
he made
handprints,
it.
outside.
He made it all small too.
I know, I know. But
It,
I thought that was really cool. Um, and then next picture here, let's see. After the autographs, oh boy, I didn't tell you this. I played Toilet.
yes,
So I waited until everyone cleared out the bathroom,
of
and I
course.
took two photos of the toilet I played on. This one was
Beautiful
set
toilet.
to the men shooting like milk out of their noses. Uh, so yeah, Toilet. I played Toilet.
And what did the game tell you? You
What
have
is
a healthy stream or nothing?
I think I won. I think I had a good stream. I could be
That's good.
wrong, but I think I
Congratulations.
pushed real hard. It hurt, but I pushed. Um, and then this next bit is just a few
Oh
little
my god,
environmental shots.
it's the mascots together. The ugly one you were talking about, and the your new favorite.
My girlfriend, yeah, Lapit, and then Joypolikun. What do you think about Joypolikun?
It kind of looks like some sort of like nightmare. Like, and they look like they're screaming at you to release them from their mortal coil and want to go
It
back to a spirit
reminds
realm.
it reminds me of those commercials for like medications where it's like my hemorrhoids are flaring up and like that thing's following you around, and like
Exactly,
it's
like
supposed to be like,
that mucus
yeah,
commercial that they've been using for like 20 years.
Yeah, and apparently there's walk around Joypolikun like mascots that are two guys, and then they'll link up to form the heart.
And then look at you with those weird, that screaming face.
They do, yeah. And then this next bit I thought was so cool. So there's these benches throughout the third floor, and they are probably from 1996 when Joypolis opened. You can see here on the sides of them it says it's Funteractive, and then it says around the side Funteraction, and this is from AM R&D Department 5, and these were benches you sit on. Well, people ride the rides, and you like wait for them. And if there was one thing I could take home, it would be the Joypolis benches. I saw maybe like 10 of them sprinkled throughout, but like they didn't repaint them. Like they leave some elements of the past, which I thought was nice. Throughout the park, you see little reminders of the age of it, and for some people, they might think that feels dated. For me, it shows that there is some history there, and as we saw with the Michael Jackson picture, like it's from the Saturn era, and so it's
Right.
I don't know, it's kind of cool to see things there that evokes that 1996 Sega era. And then the last one is just a look at that close-up look at that coin I was talking about.
And that's what you took with you, the lucky coin.
My lucky coin, yeah, my 500 yen coin. So that's our big epic episode on Tokyo Joypolis. Closing thoughts. I don't feel I need to defend it, but I have seen comments from people saying that it was. Some people love it. Some people, I think, go there expecting 2025 virtual theme park. Wow me. I want Islands of Adventure levels of, you see those videos right now of the that monster dark universe at Universal Studios. Like, I think if you're going there thinking you're going to be seeing Japan blowing stuff you can find in Florida out of the water, you're going to be disappointed. But if you're going there as a Sega fan who is upset that you're not seeing any Sega arcades throughout Japan because Sega left that market, it's going to make you happy to be in a space that has history, that has existed since 1996 and will hopefully exist beyond. The fact that in 1 year, Joypolis will be turning 30 is something.
Wow.
That says a lot about the not just the age of the place, but the fact that Sega has stuck with it, even if it was through a kind of subsidiary running the park. And I think that's the best way it can go about, because from what I experienced, I was there on a Monday or a Tuesday. Like, you'd think it would be dead, but it was quite busy. There were 30-minute long waits on some of the rides. So it's still buzzing. It's still active. It very well could be due for a refresh anytime soon. So I'm very thankful that I experienced Joypolis as it kind of appeared since 2012. And I'm also thankful that I got to go on so many of the rides, even though I didn't go on all of them. And yeah, it's definitely a must visit if you're a Sega fan, but also if you're someone, like us, who has discussed the kind of more obscure or odder sides of Sega. And you get a lot of that flavor there. You get to see a lot of the things that we've discussed on past episodes. And yeah, overall, very impressed. Hoping to go back again, and I can sit in those benches. But yeah, that's about it.
And
I don't know if
before
you
we
want to
wrap,
add anything.
well, I mean, I wasn't there, so it's hard for me to add anything of substance for your experience. But I think obviously, so many of them closed down, so it's pretty cool that you got to experience the last one. And you said you were wanting to do that when we did the Joyopolis episode, so It's a mission accomplished. And
Yeah.
so, what are we going to talk about next time on Sega Talk?
Oh my God, George! The next time, it's pick of the litter for you. You get to pick from our Patreon picker, Daniel Andres's big old list. I can throw some at you right now. He's got Like a Dragon, the movie from 2007.
Let's do
He's
the movie.
got Dino Crisis. You want to do the movie?
Yeah, let's do the movie. We need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting movie. So next time on Sega Talk, we talk about Like a Dragon, the movie. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. All right.